Look at these numbers. What comes next? 2, 4. I may be wrong, but my guess is that you chose either the number 6 or the number 8. That's because depending upon the pattern you first thought of, you either add 2 or you double the last number. In either case, you'll be wrong. Actually, the next number in the sequence should be 16. Each number is the last number squared. And that's the problem with patterns. They lead us astray with stunning regularity. And yet still we try to find them. We have an inbuilt pattern recognition mechanism that never stops. And it's not just sequences, although they're common enough and lead into all manner of assumptions about cause and effect. It's not hard to see why this obsession with patterns prevailed in the ancestral environment. The early hunter-gatherer who learned to recognize the association between plants and water would have a distinct advantage over those who didn't. The Homo erectus, who understood that birds falling silent is often part of a pattern involving dangerous predators, would certainly have the edge. So our species evolved pattern recognition as a very effective survival strategy. It's true that this sort of inference, the assumption of danger, can lead to overcaution on occasion, but that probably wasn't such a bad thing in the circumstances. But that's not the whole story. The human obsession with patterns and sequences also leads us to imagine patterns in the things we see and hear, from faces in clouds or even wallpaper and embers to words and phrases in the wind. And the pattern we identify is often far from real. So we get spooked by shadows and led astray by random events that seem to come in order. Believing nonsense, the illusion of pattern. Humans kid themselves into believing in nonsense like astrology and bizarre medical treatments. We become convinced that bad things come in threes, or that because 2 unpleasant things have happened already this morning, we're in for one of those days. We see patterns everywhere. What's worse, once we hit upon a pattern, real or imagined, other processes, known as selective abstraction and confirmation bias, tend to keep us convinced that we're right. We'll cover confirmation bias and selective abstraction later. For now, it's enough to know that both of these mental modules serve to persuade us that we're right and to resist self-doubt. This process of imagining patterns, confirmation bias, and stubbornness can have extremely unfortunate results. It leaves us open to persuasion. That's why the most skilled and influential political speakers give 3 illustrations of their most important points. They know that 3 is the magic number to create the illusion of a pattern, and that once established in the mind of the listener, that illusion, that pattern, will be hard to break. The truth is that our species' love of patterns, our obsession with trying to place everything around us into recognizable pre-existing categories, makes us extremely vulnerable. This is the aspect of our evolved psychology, perhaps more than any other, that makes us gullible and easy to manipulate. It leads to superstition and the prevalence of people who'd never dream of playing an important sporting match without their lucky cricket box or without reciting their favourite pre-match mantra. It's why the actor John Wayne always insisted on carrying the same 6-shooter in every Western. He'd created an assumption of cause and effect that had nothing to do with reality. It's also why the primitive cause and effect assumption of tribal weather gods eventually merged into a single deity called Yahweh and ultimately morphed into the 3 modern versions of the God of Abraham. This obsession with patterns and lucky ritual has led to self-important metaphysical or religious rituals, from the repetitive behaviours of obsessive-compulsive disorders to the Hail Mary of Catholicism, the ingestion of transubstantiated flesh in Holy Communion, and the masochism of the flagellant. In each case, the assumption is the same. If I get the ritual right, I, or God, or the universe can influence the world, the weather, other people, or whatever, to behave as I would like them to. It's also why gamblers kid themselves that the next random throw of the dice is due to fall on a 6, or why the lottery numbers are bound to come up soon. It's because of an entirely baseless assumption that essentially random events follow patterns that exist only in the human mind. I'm Stuart Sorensen, and this is Mind the Care training. If you found this video useful or helpful in any way, please feel free to share it around and click the like button. Oh yes, and while you're at it, if you click on the little character icon that's on your screen right now, you can subscribe to the channel and you won't miss any other videos. Thank you for watching.